Welcome in to the PrizePicks Prop Show. My name is Michael Govier. He is Stuart Durst. And what you are witnessing is a show where we give you picks from the PrizePicks app. That's right, prop picks for college football, specifically today. We love college football. Stuart, college football, what does it make you think of when it comes into your mind? Give me something. Paint a picture for me.
The American dream right there. A Saturday, you got a nice bud in your hand. You're with all your family, your friends, and you're just appreciating the great sport of football. That's what I think of when I think of college football.
A bud! Wow, that's definitely American. I will say that. Though I think Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch is actually owned by the Belgians now. That's classic America. The American dream taken away from the original place it came from. But that's not the case with college football. So we're going to give you our prop picks across the land for this weekend's action. Of course, FTN is the code. If you've never used PrizePicks before, and if you have, but you haven't used the promo code FTN, then you really need to get in there. We'll deposit match 100%. That's right, up to 100 bones, $100, 100% of that will be matched with the promo code FTN. Use it and never lose it, folks. We're here to help. We want you to make money, and today we hope that our picks will make a difference. Last week, I got a little snake bit against Stuart. I'm either snake bitten or I just suck. I'm not sure which one it is just yet, but Dorian Thompson-Robinson got injured, and he was well on his way to that prop of passing and rushing the 303.5, but he got hurt, and he never came back in, and that's the way it goes. 1 week it's a severe weather, the next time it's an injury. Now, all these props are picked. There's hundreds of props, and I just keep picking the ones that are coming up with weird external variables.
Yeah, no, the injury bug sometimes does bite pretty hard, but the good news is regression always comes back. For as many of those injuries you might get earlier in the season, I think we're going to be rewarded as the season goes on with some good luck coming right back at us.
I like that. We love the positivity here, Stuart. All right, so with that, why don't you give us your first selection of the day?
Sounds good. Last week, quarterbacks worked out really well for me, so I'm going to be sticking with quarterbacks once again. I'm going Dylan Gabriel over 292 and a half passing yards in this Oklahoma-Nebraska matchup. Nebraska obviously hasn't gotten off to too hot of a start so far this season. They just let go of their coach last week. It's kind of uncertain times. They're in a bit of a tough position, and they have not been good on defense this season. Obviously, that offense with Casey Thompson transferring over from Texas has been a little bit better, which is good. It kind of keeps the game flowing a little bit, but that defense has struggled in both of their losses this season. They allowed 314 passing yards to Ryan Helinski and then 409 passing yards to Ryan Van Treese in both of their losses this season. I remember Helinski's passing yards prop was at 195, and he threw for 314 passing yards against this Nebraska secondary. Dylan Gabriel is on a different talent sphere than the two quarterbacks that they faced that I just mentioned right here. I think this Nebraska secondary is really going to get torched up. Obviously, they struggled so far against two lesser talents. This is the toughest opponent they faced. They just fired their coach. They're in a tough position, and now they've got to deal with Dylan Gabriel, who's looked very good this season. Oklahoma's beat up on two lesser opponents. This is their first chance to kind of prove themselves. This game's on national TV. I'm expecting over 300 passing yards for Gabriel in this one.
Yeah, you are a wise man. Let me tell you something here, Stuart. I've looked at this game, and I really like the under. I really have looked it over, and it stood out to me right away. When I dug in further, the under is 66 for the Nebraska-Oklahoma game. So that doesn't mean the yards can't be racked up at all. And in fact, that doesn't mean that Oklahoma still can't score 40 points and win this one 40-17 even. With a 66-point over-under, that would be fine by me because that would be 57 points. But in the end, I'm all for this. Dylan Gabriel is one of my favorite quarterbacks in all football. I love the name. It just reminds me of an old-school quarterback for some reason. Dylan Gabriel throws the ball down the field. I can't do a great John Facenda. I shouldn't even try, really, but it just reminds me of those old-school NFL quarterbacks. So I like it. I'm all for it. All right, my first play, I'm going with Zack Flowers. Who's Zack Flowers, you may ask? Maybe a couple of you might ask who that is. Zack Flowers is wide receiver for the Boston College Eagles. And though Phil Yurkovec let me down last week on the passing prop, which was very sad for me, I still think this is an easy play because Zay Flowers is his main man. He's going to go to Zay often. Zay's a very talented player, too. In fact, he's the kind of guy that could probably get transfer portaled up to an even better squad, but he's still there with the Boston College Eagles, and he's already caught 14 balls for about 200 yards, a couple of tutties. So I think he can easily eclipse 80 yards in this matchup at the very least. So I like his over of 75.5 receiving yards. This is a play for me where he's the main target for Jurkovic against Maine. I believe they're the Black Bears, the Maine Black Bears. And they're an FCS school, but they're a decent FCS school, but that doesn't matter. This should be an easy cover, in my opinion, because also Boston College has no run game that they can really rely on, which is unusual because they've, A.J. Dillon was a recent graduate of Boston College, so there's been a little bit of a history there. But I'm taking Zay Flowers, 75.5 over receiving yards.
Yeah, I like this one. Like you said, we normally think of Boston College as the super run-heavy team, right? But that hasn't been the case so far this season. You look at the two matchups, he's performed well, but that's been against much tougher opponents. Now we get a Maine defense that should be a big step down. I think he goes off for 100-plus yards. I like this call a lot. I think he's obviously very talented. I was kind of thinking the same transfer portal thing you were a little bit, too. Could see him on one of these nice SEC teams next season.
I'm sure it's only a matter of time. Yeah, I like that. I'm glad the transfer portal exists. I want freedom for players. I want players to get paid. It's been a long time coming, man. So people who complain about the changes, hit the bricks because you're part of the past. The transfer portal is the future. All right, Stuart, what is play number 2 for college football here on the PrizePicks Prop Show?
Yep, I told you we are sticking with quarterbacks today. We're going to Michael Penix Jr. over 280.5 passing yards right here in this Washington versus Michigan State game, which is one of the most exciting of the week for me. I think the most interesting thing, and I'll start with this right here, the look-ahead line before the season started had Michigan State as 3-point favorites in this game. We are now at game day this week. The line has been around 3.5, even touching 4 at times, with Washington as the favorite, obviously flipping the switch completely without any major injury concerns actually affecting it. What's really caused that has kind of been this quarterback change, right? He was at Indiana, he was impressive there, but that offense really didn't kind of tailor to really exploit a quarterback, right? That was kind of a pretty boring, let the defense get the job done, limit turnovers offense. This is now a Pac-12 high-flying offense, and he's really showed it so far. Michigan State, on the other hand, a team I'm a big fan of. This hurts me a little bit. Their secondary was not good last season. Out of all ranked teams, they were clearly the worst. Big plays galore. This season, they haven't really been tested yet. 2 very easy opponents in weeks 1 and 2 right here. This will be their first real test, and I'm kind of concerned that he's going to go well over 300 passing yards as he has in his first 2 starts. He also hasn't really been tested yet, right? Not at too many hard defenses yet. We're still kind of easing into the season, but this Michigan State secondary isn't projected to be very good. I think this is at least 300 passing yards. Like I said, you have to have a very impressive start to the season to shift the look headline 6 points without any major injuries really coming in. The books are clearly impressed with what Washington has done so far, and I don't really like going against the book sometimes. I like to use their information to my benefit. So 280 passing yards, that feels pretty low to me. I think he goes over 300 today.
All right. Hey, I'm a local guy here in the state of Michigan, though I got my Wolverines gear on. I'm an alum, so, I'm anti-Spartans, but we don't hate the Spartans nearly as much as we hate Ohio State. And one of the sad parts of this, and this is a time where the Spartans should have consulted their Big Ten brethren in the Wolverines. Going out to Washington is always it's just tough. You're going out to the Pacific Northwest as a Big Ten team. The historic record of Big Ten teams out west, not great. It's not great, Bob, but that bodes well for you as well. So I love this call. Penix Jr. is back. He's exciting. He looks really, really good against, competition that they should look good against. So I'll be very interested to see how this one plays out. I'm pretty confident Washington takes it, and I think that includes a Penix Jr. big-time performance. So good call there, Stuart. My second play, I'm going to LSU. Now, I'm taking Jaden Daniels, quarterback, and going back to the well with the rushing plus passing of 242.5. I'm taking the over. Now, you've got Nussmeier there. He's in the mix. I understand that. He played against Southern in their last matchup, which was a 65-17 blowout. but he was the guy in the Florida State opener. Jaden Daniels was the man. So I'm expecting him to be the man against Mississippi State. This is their first SEC game. It's a big game for them. Mississippi State's got the high-powered Mike Leach offense. They're going to be throwing. They're going to be trying to rack up as many passing yards as possible. And that means Jaden Daniels will have to keep up, and I believe he will keep up. Even if it's now through the passing, he is such a great rushing quarterback, okay? So 242.5, I'm assuming this number makes me think that PrizePicks feels like they think Nussmeier is going to be a problem, that he might play more than I'm letting on here. So I looked into it, and as far as I can tell, Jaden Daniels is the starter. They're going with him, and he's not going to relinquish that opportunity. He's going to play well. So if there's any doubt that we need to bring in Nussmeier, I think that gets zapped pretty quickly. So that's my play here. You might think it a little risky because there could be a two-quarterback situation. I just don't think Kelly's going to go that route. I think he brought Jaden Daniels in, who's a transfer portal guy from Arizona State. Remember that. He played for Herm Edwards out in the desert for the Sun Devils. So they want to use him. He came here for a reason. I'm all in, and I think this one gets over very easily.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've liked Daniels kind of since his rookie season, honestly. I thought he was more on a little bit of a fast track to the NFL. He was obviously so underweight. He almost looked little, despite the fact that he's actually pretty tall. Obviously hasn't been the path we'd hoped, but this is kind of his chance right here. And is there a better matchup than this one? I mean, Leach kind of coaches this team like I was playing Madden when I was 14. I mean, pass. Let's get Will Rogers 500 yards. Let's just do it. Let's have fun. I love this. It's great for props. I like the spot. Daniels, if he can't get it done through the air, which he has struggled with sometimes, there's one thing that's dependable right there. He can run the ball. He can get 100 rushing yards. He has that upside on any given day right here, and I like that. I like that he can either get it done through the air or on the ground. I think these combo props are a little bit sneaky. I know this is your second week in a row taking advantage, and it's something I'm going to have to look at a little bit more going forward.
It's just, in college football especially, quarterbacks get a lot of rushing attempts, much more than they do in the NFL, so it's a chance to maybe cheat the system a little bit. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson would have hit his last week. He just got hurt. Let's hope Jaden Daniels stays healthy, and I hope nothing but good things for you, Mr. Daniels in the Bayou. All right, there it is. We've done the PrizePicks prop show for College Football Edition. He is Stuart Durst, and you should follow him on Twitter because that's what all good little boys and girls do. They go to Twitter and they follow people that make them money. And I'll tell you what, I mean, Stuart makes people money, dude. This guy is a machine. His record speaks for himself. I looked into it. I didn't know who Stuart was before we started doing the show. I was new to FTN, but now I know. So follow him on Twitter at Monotone Football with one L, right? That's an awesome name. Monotone Football. Where does that come from, Stuart? I never got the story on that.
It's really not that interesting, you know. I feel like somebody just called me like, "Oh, you're a little bit monotone earlier," and I just kind of rolled with it. You know, I've actually been live a couple times, and I've been, I guess, maybe a little bit tired, and people have been like, "Oh, I see where the name comes from." That one hurts a little bit, so I gotta work on keeping the energy up. But it's stuck, right? It's stuck. People seem to notice it, so I'm rolling with it. We're keeping it going.
I love it. Own it, man. Don't let them keep you in a box. Just accept it. Be like, okay, hey, you can't hurt me now. I love that. That's awesome, dude. And I don't think you're monotone. I think you got a lot of energy. Of course, I'm at MJ Govier on Twitter. GOV is a Victor IER. And don't forget that FTN promo code up to $100 will be matched. Yes, I assure you. FTN promo code on the PrizePicks app gets you up to $100 matched. It's a guaranteed deal. Take advantage of it. For the FTN crew, we want to thank Quan for producing. I'm Michael Govier. That is Stuart Durst. We thank you for watching the PrizePicks Prop Show College Football Edition.